your boy Roy Jones Jr. and right now you tuning into World Combat Sports. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, you're listening to World Combat Sports. Salute to everyone that's in the live chat, the WCS supporters. You know what it is, man. We're turning up for 2021. Man, it's the third day on a close. Heading into this freaking first week. You know what I'm saying? We're in the first week. The first full 7 of 2021. All we want is for you to send us those stimulus checks. That's all we want. So we can feel a little bit more, jovial about this new year. If you're looking at my damn thumbnail, man, for anyone and everyone, the link is in the motherfucking chat. For anyone is out here saying Ryan Garcia is top 3, you out your mind. You cannot sit up here and play yourself. I'm bringing in old school terms. Playing yourself. You are absolutely playing yourself with extreme prejudice and bias. Absolutely. There's no way that you can sit up here and convince me or anybody else that's tuned in outside of those communities of Myridons, who would just listen to anything and everything and follow along with the narrative. Not everyone, but a lot of them. We know damn well that Ryan Garcia, that fight that he just had against Luke Campbell, don't you dare try to hype that shit up as if it's something special. Don't do that to yourself. Transcendent Sports, what's good? Salute to you. Do not do that to yourself to hype up Ryan Garcia getting off the canvas to say he came back and finished someone like Luke Campbell. And, it wasn't like that was the first time Luke Campbell was on the canvas. That wasn't the first loss of Luke Campbell's career. It absolutely wasn't. But what I'm saying is I praise him for the heart. I do. I praise Ryan Garcia for the heart. The adulations, is there. He got off the canvas. But why was he on the canvas to begin with? Because if we're looking at engaging him in the ranking system, right? We're engaging him in the ranking system. When Vasyl Lomachenko faced Luke Campbell, he never touched the canvas. Luke Campbell wasn't able to drop Lomachenko like Linares did. So I'm not sure whether Wall Street is being the stock in Luke Campbell has elevated all of a sudden. So let's go back to let's try to give him some credit. I'm trying to search for some stock value. So let's go to Lomachenko and Teofimo Lopez. Did anything special happen in that fight? Well, we can just bleed that over to the Luke Campbell and Lomachenko. I'm just trying to find out how can we build up the stock of Luke Campbell, because he never dropped Vasyl Lomachenko. Teofimo Lopez didn't drop Vasyl Lomachenko. But in the fight, Luke Campbell was dropped and he finished the round. But I'm trying to look at Luke Campbell's previous opponents, and I just don't have anything out there coming off this fight with Ryan Garcia as to why people are elevating him into the top 3. And I'm very critical of Devin Haney because I say he didn't do anything to get the belts. I stand on my square with that. On my integrity. I stand on that. But it gets to a point where you have new media that's out here speaking on boxing. They have every right. Let me bring in the First Amendment and shit. They have the right to have their own platforms and things like that. But what I'm concerned about is I'm hearing the same stroke of the violin too much. Like you playing the same tune when some of these fighters faced the other. Like the narratives are being pushed too much with prejudice and bias. You say you want to stop talking about the Mexican and black boxers, but then y'all up here boosting up Ryan Garcia for getting off the canvas, but you don't boost up Bud Crawford. You want to say Ryan Garcia is top 3 in front of Devin Haney. That just shows me that him picking up the interim title. Of course, I'm not the one up here advocating for Devin Haney, but doesn't he have the title above the interim championship? Doesn't he have it? Has Devin Haney been to the canvas yet? Even with Gamboa, even with Yurkus Gamboa, was he on the canvas? Was he on the canvas? Because both of those fighters finished the fight on their feet. But then, like I said myself, it underwhelmed. It wasn't as exciting as I thought the fight would be. That's what I said about Haney and Gamboa. But you take Ryan Garcia, the one who was on the canvas in the 11th against Vasyl Lomachenko. Y'all sitting up here ranting and raving and jumping around, clicking your heels together and saying, oh, whoa, Ryan Garcia top 3 for sure. He got off the fucking canvas. He got off the fucking canvas. That's what he did. So what? You know how many fighters have gotten off the canvas and y'all didn't give them credit? I.e. Deontay Wilder. He got off the canvas twice, but he was getting his ass whooped, right? Kavaliauskas, was able to, give Bud some controversy. Bud got off the canvas and just dog walked Kavaliauskas and finished the fight. But the narrative was, oh, he got hurt. He got touched up by Kavaliauskas. He's vulnerable. He's this, that, and the other. You got a 9-line full of discrepancies that you're talking about right now. A 9-line, y'all. A 9-line. Y'all have so many freaking discrepancies and criticism to talk about. And you know what's so crazy about it is that Ryan Garcia has so much growth. He has a lot of growth to do in his boxing career. It's okay for you all to critique these fighters the right way. Don't be afraid not to critique these fighters. You know what I'm saying? Just because they're a Hispanic fighter. You gotta critique them regardless of what your community is or not. You gotta critique all fighters like I do. You can't come over here to WCS, waving the motherfucking red flag, talking about somebody's being biased and prejudiced and all this other stuff. You can't do it. Because if you look at my lives, I critique who I critique for boxing media. But a lot of you all have the microphone and the voice, and you're saying you're covering boxing. But when it comes to a fighter that's Hispanic and black, you're up here looking at a fighter like Ryan Garcia and praising him for getting off the canvas. So therefore, why are we not praising? Why are we not criticizing his trainer, who is getting all this rave about, training Saul Canelo Alvarez, and then turn around, Ryan Garcia goes up there and he's fighting with his chin up, very flat-footed. He's fighting a southpaw, and he's doing, he's kind of, executing his power punches just as if he was making a video on social media. And I think that's a problem. I know it's a problem. Now, of course, once again, people saying that Ryan Garcia has all this power. But what did Vasyl Lomachenko hurt Luke Campbell with? A left to the body. Do your research. Why y'all ranting and raving about Ryan Garcia doing something that Vasyl Lomachenko did? It is not the first stamp of approval when it comes to someone stopping Luke Campbell. It's not, people. I'm just putting it out there. It is not the stamp of approval as if Ryan Garcia did something no one else has been able to do besides stop Luke Campbell. But Luke Campbell has been down. Look, he's been DOWN, down. He had plenty of times during that fight to take advantage of Ryan Garcia And he did not. We're talking about a gold medal Olympian. And you just sit up there and allow him to recover from that early knockdown. That was your saving grace, your peace. You knocked the man down, but you couldn't execute. You couldn't take full advantage of it. That's not cool. Shallow, what's good? I got Tank in front of Garcia, but Garcia proved a lot in that fight. We don't know how Haney, Tio, or Tank would respond from hard shots. I don't know why they dog Bud so much. So good point. Hey, I appreciate you that Ghost 81. So Haney, Tio, or Tank. Tio has responded to hard shots. Nakatani did land some shots on Teofimo Lopez. Let's get that straight. He absolutely did. You cannot sit up here like a lot of people doing and downplay and dilute Masayoshi Nakatani. He knocked out and stopped Felix Verdejo. They was talking about how he gave Teofimo Lopez, some problems, some big problems. He has power. So we know Teofimo Lopez has taken some power shots. Tank Davis has been in there and taken some shots. I'm not sure if it was shots that we've seen Tank Davis in some fights where, I can put it to you like this. I don't think one iota that Tank Davis would be concerned about Ryan Garcia's power. I don't think so. And I could see Team Garcia going in there with a fight with Gervonta and thinking, okay, well, Gervonta, he swells up in between fights. Let's go to the body. Okay. Go right ahead. Whatever offensive game plan that you have, I would say try to execute it and see what the results are. You know what I'm saying? Collect the data. No problem. That is no problem with me. If you think Gervonta is soft to the body, exploit it. Attempt to exploit it. But you also have to watch out for the counter shots. And you have to understand that Gervonta Davis is a magnificent boxer. And anybody who saw that fight with Ryan Garcia and Luke Campbell understands that he has measures before he reached the top three. He has measures to accomplish. He still has a curriculum ahead of him that needs to be taught to him specifically in the gym. You know what I'm saying? He does. He needs that. What's going on with you?
Hey, World Combat, what's up, bro?
I'm chilling. Ghost, how you feel, bro?
Hey, I'm okay. Hey, man, first I want to say congratulations always on the channel, and I want to say that I subscribed to you when I think I first met you when on Punch's channel. I think it was like a month ago or whatever. But as soon as I found out that you had a channel, bro, I subscribed to you and I watch you. I watched a couple of your videos. I'm a fan. I liked your other video, the one you had. You had one with a father and a son, and they're talking about fighting Haney.
Yeah, Team Williams. Yeah,
Yeah,
Team Williams.
yeah, I like that one. I like that one.
I appreciate it. It's Team
Yeah,
Williams all day. You know what it is.
yeah, yeah. Hey, listen. I guess let me rephrase that. First off, Ryan should have never put himself in that position. He should have never been on the ground in the first place. So yeah, I understand. There's no praising and not having good defense, bro. So, uh, it, I I would say we haven't seen them get dropped yet. And first of all, when we were talking about this I think we were on Black and Brown's channel yesterday. Everybody was going through their top five or whatever, and they were getting on me because I got Ryan in 4 or 5 still. I got
I
Haney.
heard
I
you.
got
I
I
heard
got
you. I was watching.
Yeah, I got Haney before Ryan, and I got Tank second, and I got Tio first, and I think I got Loma fifth. I think I
You got
changed it up.
Lomachenko after Ryan?
No. I think no. I got Ryan last. I got Loma fourth, Ryan last, Haney third, Tank
Okay.
second, and first. I see the thing I'm confused about is Haney and Tank, but I'm gonna put Tank second because I just think he's more dangerous, and I really would like to see Tank and Tio, but. But I would the reason why I'm going to put Tio first is because I think he's just accomplished more. That's all. And I'm not even
Yeah.
saying that I think Tio would beat Tank. I think that's just the fight I want to see. But I'm just we were going through top five, and then people started arguing with me saying, Loma's accomplished more, but then again, Loma's been beat, uh, you know, by a journeyman. but
Yeah.
but go but going back to Ryan, I just think that I like that he showed a lot, but that what that showed me two things. It showed me that he's got heart, but it also showed me that he's not ready. That he's not ready for someone like Tank or Tio or a hard puncher because two things. If Tio would have dropped him or if Tank would have dropped him, number one, he might not have got up. And number two, they would have hopped on his ass. I don't know why Luke just it looked like Luke backed up. I don't understand that. It it
Yeah,
it, it,
I
it
don't
baffled me. It
understand.
it baffled me.
I don't understand why Luke Campbell, being that he's an Olympic gold medalist, right, and he's been in there with with the top of the heap in Vasil Lomachenko. He faced adversity, right? He faced adversity, but when he was, this is another thing I talk about a lot when people want to give praises to certain fighters. Now, when Lomachenko um, dropped Luke Campbell, people was like, well, Vasil Lomachenko dropped Luke Campbell. They really wasn't giving, Luke Campbell the praise that they're giving Ryan Garcia for getting up. And he hurt him to the body. Lomachenko hurt Luke Campbell to the body. So Luke Campbell was able to finish the fight. That's not the first time Lomachenko went the distance. But then I'm looking at him when he had opportunities in the Garcia fight. He just wasn't seizing the moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you waiting on? You got the knockdown, but yet it seems like Ryan Garcia, foot on the gas, he's able to successfully move ahead in some of these rounds after you dropped him. And I didn't see the sense of urgency with Luke Campbell to really leave it all in on the line, especially when he was up against the ropes and allowed Ryan Garcia to, basically send some punch combinations his way. But I agree with what you said about Ryan Garcia being on the canvas. We have not seen his mentor, Saul Canelo Alvarez, on the canvas. So why are we praising Ryan Garcia when he's in the company of Reynoso? Why are we praising him for getting off the canvas and he's being trained by Eddie Reynoso?
I don't know what, but listen. First of all, let if we can be completely honest, we know why, and you mentioned it in the beginning of your video, and I get into arguments all the time, bro. 'Cause first of all, um, I've been on Punch's channel, I've been on Black and Brown's channel, and I told them all the time that they know I'm Puerto Rican, and I told them I keep the same energy with everybody. I don't ride somebody because they're Spanish. I don't ride somebody because they're black, and I tell them you're. They're being biased to a certain extent, and that's why they put somebody before somebody. Somebody will like a person because they're the same color as them, and so therefore, if they do something or accomplish something, they'll put that person before somebody, even though they didn't beat the other person that needs to be beat in that weight class. I tell them all the time, but I keep the same energy with Canelo too. I told them, I say, listen, Canelo's moving up and down in weight classes. That shit is hard to do, bro. And he's fighting nothing but champions. And I told him, I'm like, but you got to be honest. He's not picking the hardest competition. He's not picking the hardest champions. But at the same time, you really can't say that he's what he's doing is easy. What he's doing is not easy because it is hard to move up and down from weight classes or whatever. But I just try to keep the same energy. I don't just look at somebody and go, "Oh, I only like Puerto Rican fighters." When I was growing up, I loved Felix Trinidad. I loved Felix Trinidad, bro. But I knew in my heart when he was gonna fight Oscar De La Hoya, it was gonna be a fucking problem. I knew it was gonna be a problem. I didn't go out there and go, "Fuck that, yeah, I'm Boricua, this and that, yeah." I just knew it, bro. But there's some people that no matter what, they're gonna have that bias. But some people keep the same energy. But but to some, like for instance, I love Jerron Ennis Boots, and they hear me talk about it all the time, and Chris Colbert. So to be honest, I will always have some sort of bias. If Chris Colbert fights another fighter, I'm probably gonna ride with Chris Colbert. I'm probably gonna argue with you on that because I've seen him in person. I like him, you know what I mean? And he's from where I grew up at. So I mean, so around the area. So I mean, like, so I can understand it to a certain extent, but not to where it clouds your judgment. You know.
For sure. Hey, shout out to GTS on deck, man. How you feel?
Uh, Wonderfully. Thank you for asking. How you doing today?
I'm cool, man.
Yeah.
Let's cook. What you got to say on the fight, man? I pretty much heard you on the other channels already, but let's go.
Oh, on the fight? No, I thought it was a real good fight. I think Ryan Garcia definitely solidified his place as a serious contender in the landscape of the lightweight division right now. Um, yeah,
Solidified
but
there,
yeah.
smoke.
Say again.
Solidified now.
What'd you say?
Solidified.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Luke Campbell is challenged for the title, right?
Man, Teofimo Lopez went in there with Nakatani, man, and he caught a little bit of hell, had some personal problems outside the ring, and people was damn vilifying the man. But Ryan Garcia gets off the canvas when he shouldn't have been there in the first place. You know what I'm saying? And we compare him to the top. There's smoke. Facile was never on the canvas against Luke Campbell, but he goes in there, and Luke Campbell was able to drop Ryan Garcia. Man, I don't think he's a contender at all.
All right, so right, so I said the current landscape, right, and
Yeah.
the and that is what it is. So, um, I'm not sure what you mean or what you're. It seems what you're trying to say is that there's some sort of bias within the fan base about the reaction to what
Yeah,
Tiafimo
well, it is
experienced at
biased,
the
smoke.
Nakatani fight and what Ryan Garcia is experiencing at the Luke Campbell fight, and that means that he is not a top contender. Like for me, um, I I think Luke Campbell is a stiff enough test that it should make him a reasonable mandatory for Devin Haney, right?
I mean, he's the interim. That's all I can say. On paper, he's a reasonable mandatory, like you said, on paper.
Yeah, I mean that's all I meant. I feel like he solidified. Like I don't think that it would have been particularly reasonable before that. I think that you would have thought that Luke Campbell would have just been the mandatory, right? Especially since they were supposed to fight for the vacant, and he supposedly did so well. But I wasn't one of those people who really vilified Tio for the Nakatani fight. So I just like Tio. Like for me, I thought that Tio needed to work on his defense more, and he had left
Mhm.
that lapse. He had just kind of focused on his offense a bit much, and he needed to get back to his defensive roots and be a little bit more defense responsible. And once Loma did start throwing punches, he found Tio fairly. I mean, not really easily. He had to eat something to get something, but he was
Correct.
touching Tio up pretty well. You would imagine that somebody who fought for every minute of 12 rounds or, tried to press the action may have a little bit more success, or maybe they would have got knocked out sooner. Who knows? You don't know until you see it. But all I'm saying is I wasn't really like, oh, yeah, Tio's not the goods or something like that. I didn't jump off the bandwagon.
No, Ryan Garcia was, I mean, the hype behind him, they was waiting for this fight with Luke Campbell for real. And, it started catching energy and traction at the very, the final week. People were starting to tune in and say, okay, cool, let's kick off 2021 with this Garcia and Campbell fight. But seeing him on the canvas, just like um, Ghost said, is the fact that, they shouldn't be praising his lack of defense. You know what I'm saying? Because you're in the lightweight division, which is a very electric division. It has potential to be a very electric division, especially when we kind of get past the Teofimo Lopez and who he going to fight Devin Haney, or is he going to move up to 140? Once we figure all that out, then we got a pretty hot division. Right now, Tio has all the belts, and we trying to see if he's gonna fight Devin Haney. But to praise a fighter getting off the canvas against Luke Campbell, who went against Luke Campbell, fought against the top 2 pound for pound at the time, and not one time he dropped him. So when I seen him drop Ryan Garcia, it said to me in narrative that Ryan Garcia still has some work to do before he stops through and face Gervonta Davis. he has some work to do with Reynoso. They need to first of all work on his defense, okay? And also he has this habit of boxing like he's making a video when he throws his combinations. Now, a lot of people believing that Ryan Garcia has this crazy amount of power, but it seems like it was a bit, a slapping, but it did have some sting to it, just a little bit. I don't know, but the chin was up in the air a little bit too much for me. He's open for the counters. His foot placement, fighting southpaw, it was embryonic. You know what I'm saying? He can work on that. But there
Yeah,
was a lot of flaws that he had, was just a flat-footed fighter that he definitely need to improve upon. What
and
do you
he
think
keeps
about it, bro?
I
yeah, he
agree
keeps
with
his,
everything.
he keeps his right hand down, and this is one thing that me and Smoke agreed yesterday. Me and him agreed that we think that Tank's a bad matchup, and a lot of people think that because Ryan's height and because his speed, Tank is fast too. Tank is
Yeah,
fast too, and Tank is strong, bro. They're not understanding that Luke Campbell does not even have the like a I would say not even like a third of the strength that Tank has, bro. Tank's and so a lot of people's argument is, well, he fights smaller people. It don't matter. They call him Tank for a reason, bro. He's got 23 knockouts out of 24 fights, bro. He's a
correct.
you know what I mean, and he's a one shot, like he'll drop you in one shot. If that was Tank, he needs to fix that defense, bro. Because if that was Tank or somebody like Tio, he might not have got up. And if he did, like I said, he would have hopped on him. So
Yeah, I agree with the 100%. That he stands too straight up. His chin is in the streets. Um, he um, he doesn't even know where to place his feet in order to cut the ring off to get to Tank. Tank would use lateral movement. He'd be juking him, hitting him at
Yeah,
will at certain points. It's just that like people looked at Leo Santa Cruz, him being able to touch Tank, and then transferred that ability to Ryan Garcia, as if Ryan Garcia is in the same stratosphere technically as a Leo Santa Cruz. Um, yeah, he's just. Um, but the thing about what we're talking about, the focus on his defense and his lack of defense and even his defense responsibility, he's throwing combinations like nothing's going to come back at him. Like all that aside, we have a champion who doesn't seem to have power, so that fight is actually a lot more. It's probably a lot closer, and that's what I meant by he's a top contender in the landscape, right? I think that he actually has a really good chance to beat Devin Haney. I think Devin Haney beats him with his feet ultimately, but it'll probably be a competitive fight, right? I see it could be potentially 8-4, 9-3 for Haney, but it also could potentially um, be close. It could be a 7-5 fight, and because Haney has to pick himself off the ground. I don't know like what would happen if their mistakes were made, right? Because Haney's he's not southpaw. He comes with the orthodox. Um, he doesn't have the same kind of I don't think he puts. I mean, he does everything behind the jab, so I think really just going to be behind the jab, maybe throw some hooks off the jab and keep moving him around, just keep turning him. That's the way that I see the fight. But Ryan does have, he's got something. He can close the distance fairly well, at least on a Luke Campbell. I think that Devin Haney has better reflexes than Luke Campbell. Um, so yeah, but as far as Tank or To, that's
I
too
hear
much
I
back
hear
right
people
from
also
To.
saying, well,
Yeah, say again.
I hear people also saying that they have mentioned Garcia potentially dropping Haney off, him stopping Luke Campbell, right? But also, seeing the way Ryan Garcia touched the canvas, Devin Haney, being that I give him no credit for being a power puncher, as the WBC champion, he may indeed touch Ryan Garcia and drop him because timing is everything. Seriously, timing is everything, and we can sit up here and laugh about Gamboa, how old he is, but I've seen Gamboa fight several times. He has a very durable and respectable chin. But Haney may potentially catch Ryan Garcia, and then we will see if he has a chin or not. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know he was able to get up from the Luke Campbell, but we got two different fighters. You know what I'm saying? I believe Haney is much quicker fighter indeed than Luke Campbell. So when it comes down to, like you said, you think he'll beat him with his feet. Well, also, Haney, as much as I criticize the shit out of him, he does have counters. His countering ability is tailor-made for Ryan Garcia, who stands there with his hand down and his chin up, and he's tailor-made for a counter shot. So it's questions on both sides. Can Garcia drop Haney, or Haney drop Garcia?
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. Like, so,
Shout out Major.
Gamboa's like a swarmer, right? He had some pretty decent pop in the lower weight classes back when he was the Hurricane from Guantanamo. Um, he was, but he had some couple of one punchers from like lower level opposition. But it's been a long time since we've seen that Gamboa. And Ryan Garcia, I don't think is really a one shot guy either. I mean, depending on punch placement, but you get hit in the liver, you get hit in the liver, right? Yeah, I don't know that. Like I
But
said, the way
see,
he exploded the
I
way he
would put
collapsed the pocket
emphasis.
on Luke Campbell, I don't think he can do that on Devin Haney. I'll just put it that way. It like they trying to be that tall, that upright, win from the outside on a guy who knows how to box with a longer reach, and you don't really have. Yeah, I don't see how that's gonna work out for him.
I don't see him. I think as far as Haney goes, I think Haney's defense is too good. And let's read between the lines. If you want to read between the lines, he's calling out Tank, and Tank isn't even on the same banner. Haney is the easier fight to make. He's he's just mandatory, and he's not. He doesn't seem eager. He's got the belt. Um, that's if you read between the lines, it's sort of like when a fighter says somebody's calling you out, and he says, "Well, let me speak to my manager," or whatever. That's another way of saying I don't want to fight you. I don't want to fight you. That's the harder fight. He wants Tank because of like what other people think. It's the height differences. I think he thinks that he could really beat Tank. I think he really thinks he has the confidence in beating Tank. Um, and I think that I don't think he feels that way about Haney. I think he really thinks that he's going to struggle with Haney.
I think he's getting his Canelo Alvarez out the way for real. He goes in there and lose, and then he moves on and fights some more fights, and then go to Hollywood. I said it before. I don't think Ryan Garcia is going to have a long boxing tenure. Well, I do see him going to Hollywood later on in his 20s. But back to the topic, Smoke. I wanted to ask you: do you believe that Ryan Garcia is top 3 in the lightweight division?
No. No, I not in terms of so yeah, not in terms of accomplishments, not in terms of accolades, um, not in terms of skills, um, but I mean maybe in quality of opposition or the profile of opposition name or something. I don't know, something like that. You can make it like a resume argument or something like level of opposition argument.
Put away the resume. Put away the resume. Just all performance, recent performances. You know what I'm saying? Just
Yeah, but
linking him
skills,
up
no,
in
no,
tune
no,
with the
no.
top names in the lightweight division.
No.
Is he your do he come close to being in the third position?
No, I think Tiafimo knocks him out. I think Loma potentially outboxes him and maybe may potentially stop him, but maybe not. I think that Tank knocks him out. I think that Devin Haney outboxes him. That's 4 people right there.
I look at it like this, man. It's difficult for me to put him higher than what he, 5. It's difficult for me to put him up there because I still see Vasil Lomachenko being smart enough to outbox Ryan Garcia. That's just me. I see Gervonta Davis at 35 giving, Garcia some hell. I also see Devin Haney, as much as, I say that he has some work to do. He can box his ass off, but, he lacks power. If we're talking about boxing, if we're talking about individuals that know how to, use their ring generalship, I have to implement the Seal Lomachenkos and the Devin Haney's, and the Teofimo Lopez's, I have to put them up there. You know what I'm saying? I have to accredit them on a higher level than I would Ryan Garcia right now, because I just don't see him as being that boxer, that has that different gear, to his collective skill set. I just don't see it, man.
Yeah. I mean, right. So, like I was saying, like the idea that he's now the interim, like maybe they can squeeze by some other some other guys over Top Rank. I don't know who to pull somebody to somewhere. Linares. I think Linares would be a good fight for him next.
Yeah.
Right, while he points the finger and let Fortuna get that Devin Haney action. But yeah, the any guys on any other networks, I don't see him beating with a name, right? Like people keep saying Nakatani for Devin Haney. I think he probably beats Nakatani, right? I think he probably stops Nakatani. I don't think
Who? Devin? Who? Ryan or Devin?
uh, um, Ryan. I think Ryan would stop Nakatani, right?
Mm.
I think Nakatani is like he uses his head for defense, and Ryan, what he know, like I think he'll use his head like a punching bag, really.
So for Nakatani, you saying he uses head as defense, but yet Ryan Garcia almost had, two the minimal, a scale of 2 to minimal damn head movement.
No, he doesn't. Oh man, I hear you. I
I
listen.
think Nakatani stops
I said
freaking Ryan
probably.
Garcia.
I said probably, right? I didn't say he definitely. Like there is. I think Nakatani has a very good chance in that fight. But I think Ryan Garcia. I would favor Ryan Garcia to win by stoppage, right? That's it.
Who you favoring that fight, Ghost?
Who? Nakatani and Ryan?
Yeah.
Uh, that's a close one, man. I would say I'm gonna give it to Ryan on points, because I think he does got a chin. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Nakatani was to win, though. I wouldn't be surprised. But I
I
mean,
say I say Nakatani wins against Ryan Garcia,
yeah,
because the Japanese spirit, is just amazing. He's a tough dude, even though he needs defense too.
yeah, he's tough.
I mean, Felix Verdejo set him up really nice with 2 right hands, but Nakatani stood up. He was hurt bad,
Well, that's what
but he
it is.
stood
World
up.
Combat. That's what it is. I think his defense is worse than Ryan's. I think it is, bro. He gets hit way too much, Nakatani, bro.
Yeah.
Correct, but Nakatani has more power than Luke Campbell to me.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does.
That's all I'm saying. Like,
No, I agree. That's why I said I wouldn't be surprised if he beats Ryan. I wouldn't.
the lightweight division has a lot of freaking interest to it, but it's just this what I'm hearing out here with Ryan Garcia. He should be the next up in the top 3, and that's just lunacy, man. It just doesn't even register with me that we're praising Ryan Garcia, who's supposed to be this next. I'm talking about they really have the hype. 7.8 million followers. It's a lot riding behind Garcia. He goes in there and get dropped, and then his post fight. I commend him for his spirit, his humor. He said, "Yeah, I was like, damn, he dropped me. Okay, I only certain fighters can get away with that. You know what I'm saying? You either have to have the looks of Ryan Garcia, the followers and everything, and with Canelo Alvarez for people to say, yeah, look at him, he's joking around. Okay, let's give him a benefit of the doubt. But not every fighter can get away with that, man. Seriously, he was on the canvas. Period."
Yeah, I mean, listen, I never thought Luke Campbell was a big puncher, right? The dude's accolades come from his amateur background, which was at 126 pounds. So, I mean, 126-pound limit, I figured he was at least at 126 pounds. He may even weigh less, right? Yeah, I don't know what to. I don't know what to make of the guy, other than he needs some development. Um, Yeah, but I also think Devin Haney needs development too. So I think that's a really intriguing fight. So I wouldn't be mad if he took some other fight. To me, Linares is a really tough fight for him, and that will let you like. if he can get past the Linares, I think he may. Well, I mean, Linares is a little bit stationary though. Like that guy also, but he also has no urgency. He does have good timing though. So if you want to get past this guy, it's with timing and a pretty good pop in his hand. If you can get through, if you can get past Linares, you can probably take a Devin Haney shot. Maybe, maybe. I don't know. I'd be a lot more sold on the fight if he got past Linares. But I'm pretty sold
Yeah,
on it now.
sounds
So
good.
it doesn't, he doesn't need to fight Linares next. I'm pretty sold on it already. But yeah, if he got past Linares, I'd be like, okay. And he got his chin checked again and was able to like, withstand it better, like not have to pick himself off the canvas. He just started with Reynoso, right? And he's had that chin issue forever.
I'm just saying though, but there's a lot of hype behind it. Now, are we looking at another Amir Khan S type fighter in Ryan Garcia when it comes to his chin? You know what I'm saying? I want to, I like Ryan Garcia as a fighter and his personality and stuff like that. It's not much you can. You look at a guy like Ryan Garcia, he seems like he's a vibrant, energized young fighter coming up in the ranks. But when it comes to boxing criticism, I mean that's what we do, and his critique is tenfold right now, comparable to the ones who's at the top of the food chain right now in the lightweight division. And I hope Ryan Garcia doesn't think about moving up to 140 anytime soon. I just want, he needs to stay down here. He will be world champion. You know what I'm saying? Once Teofimo vacate the belts, they would definitely have Ryan Garcia fight for a vacant belt, and he will be champion. Will he be a champion in the WBC rankings? I can't tell you, but will he be a champion in the division? Yes. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about a world champion, super champion, whatever the case. I mean, because when you talk about the friendship title, the shit gets all convoluted, and the WBA rankings also. But he will be a world champion. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not worried about that. I'm just thinking about the bigger fights that's in the lightweight division. Who should he fight next? I would like to see Ryan Garcia in there with somebody that's not so obvious. You know what I'm saying? Nakatani is coming off a win over Felix Verdejo. He faced adversity just like Ryan Garcia did in Luke Campbell. That'd be a good matchup to me. You know what I'm saying? Both of these guys got off the canvas to earn victories. So why not link them up? Both of them got stoppages. You know what I'm saying? He stopped Verdejo and Garcia stopped Campbell. So link them up.
Yeah. I listen. I agree, bro. With giving. I mean, at the same time, listen. It is he showed grit, but
He
at the same
did.
time, he did. But you shouldn't be getting caught like that in the first place. I mean, you've never seen Canelo drop like that. I've only seen Canelo hurt one time, really, and that was when he fought Cotto's brother, and he was real young. I don't know if you ever seen that fight.
Yeah.
If you go back, Cotto was really, really, he was really. I mean, listen, he might have been hurt. People could say, "Well, Triple G hurt him," or somebody. No, 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 no. He was hurt, bro. Go back to that fight. Go back to that fight and watch the fight with Cotto. He was hurt.
I thought Cotto did enough to get a draw, but that's just me.
But after that fight, though, after that fight, his defense changed. He started slipping. He started slipping. You know what I'm saying? In World Combat Sports, now he does that thing where I don't know if you ever seen. Of course, you've seen. You watch boxing, but you see how Canelo he does that slipping, right? That slipping, and I
Yeah.
don't know if you watch ES News. Tank is on there, and Tank one morning is about to go out and go running, and he's on the phone or whatever, and ES News is like, "Hey man, Tank, what you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm just I'm watching boxing." And he's like, "Oh, what you watching?" He's like, "Oh, I'm watching Canelo sparring Frank Sanchez, I think it is." And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, what do you like that he does?" And he's like, "Oh, I like his movement, And he's talking about his movement, like the way he slipped, because he slips punches, but he doesn't even look like he's doing it. Like it's weird. It's like the way he slips punches. It doesn't even look like he's doing. Like Mayweather, when he slipped punches, he looked good. Like he had the Philly shell. He's just a defensive mastery and shit. But Canelo slips it, but he doesn't even look like he's slipping it. He's just like bobbing his head and shit. But he slips those punches, bro.
Yeah. Canelo, The way he was slipping Gennady Golovkin's right hand, and he almost damn near turned his chin over his right shoulder, which is a no because it takes your vision off the fighter. But Canelo can get away with it. Why? Because when he slips it and his vision, it looks like he doesn't have a vision on his opponent. He moves. He moves back. He steps back. So he'll slip the right hand, but he also steps back off center, and he's able to land a punch or counter or reset with Gennady Golovkin. But they need to definitely take Ryan Garcia to the lab. They need to take this dude to the lab and say, hey, stop making all these damn reaction bag videos. No, I'll take that back. Do what works for you, man. You got 7.8. Do what works for you. But they need to take him to the lab and fine tune some shit, man. Really, they need to go back and put him in there with in behind closed doors and really teach him some damn good defense. I don't know. He got too much bad habits for me, man. For people to be boosting him up to be in the top 3, it's just not sane to believe that is the case. Seriously, I want to see the fight. I want to see him in there with Nakatani, if anything.
I mean, there's a lot of guys that I think. So I think even him and Fortuna would be a good fight, right? But at a certain point, Dev's got to fight somebody too.
Yeah, you're right. And Javier Fortuna, I would say Fortuna. I've seen him quit against Adrian Granados. I actually went to that fight. I was disappointed in Fortuna. Not to place judgment on him for life, but Adrian Granados was giving him the business. And then I look at the fight he fought against Robert Easter, and I say, it was 2 dogs in there. They made that fight worth watching. But you're right. Devin Haney needs someone to fight. And I've said it before and I'll say it again, man. His next opponent need to be somebody in the top 20, top 15, something. We're getting tired of these bottom feed fighters that Devin Haney is freaking, catching on the rebound, just like Gamboa coming off a knockout loss to Javante. We don't need that no more. We don't need no Alfredo Santiago's that's freaking coming from the DR and haven't really fought in the U.S. We need something to step up, man. And I don't think T.O. is going to be his next fight.
Nah, yeah.
That's just me. I mean, it's a lot of potential in the lightweight division, but I just don't think, the names that's up there, maybe us talking about it may be a bit easier, but I just don't see them trying to make the matchups and what we're talking about. I mean, even Ryan Garcia didn't even call out Devin Haney like that to face him next. He's calling out Javante. I even made a thumbnail about that shit. I put a video up. I say, when you're in the mandatory, when the champion has a mandatory, but the mandatory calls out another champion, and it has a female that is basically pushing the weights, and she's blindfolded and she's trying to do head movement, drills, and she get hit in the back of the head with the weights. I mean, that's just what I feel with Ryan Garcia. He didn't even call out Devin Haney. He said, yeah, Devin Haney's cool. And people talking about their friends. Who gives a damn they're friends? Are y'all going to fight to see who's the champion up there? What are we talking about?
Yeah, Devin Haney got in the ring last time, ringside for this fight. Yeah, so if they're not going to fight, I'd like to see the Loma fight. I'd like to see the Fortuna fight. I'd like to see the Linares fight. I don't know what happened to Comey. Everybody swears up and down how great a win it was. So, like, where's this guy now? Like,
he's about to fight
it?
Jackson Marinez, the one who actually defeated Rolly Romero, but was robbed. He's about to fight him.
Oh, okay, cool. I thought they were doing a rematch for that one.
No, you remember Rolly got online and he was saying, Jackson Marinez, he's a B, this, that, and the other. He didn't want the rematch. Yeah, Jackson Marinez is supposed to face Richard Comey next.
All right. That's going to be a good fight. That's a good step back, a good comeback, especially since he's been out of the ring for so long, right? So yeah, I'm not mad at it.
But does Teofimo get legitimate credit for Richard Comey? In my opinion, he does, because he went to he was able to complete the trifecta, man.
No,
You
I mean I
know,
would.
Nakatani was ranked in front of him for the IBF eliminator. Boom, got him out the way. Defeated Richard Comey in 2, and then went in there and defeated Vasil Lomachenko, man.
Yeah, so for me, I like the Richard Comey. Nakatani is, whatever. Um, the Loma win is of course fantastic. I've seen Beltran fight live. I can't remember what fight. It's the undercard of Loma Mariaga.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I mean, I'd never thought, like, they were always trying to groom Beltran to fight Loma, and I was wanting to see the Mikey Garcia Loma fight at the time, right? But anyway, um, Richard Comey took care of Beltran, but I never, I had a bunch of questions about Richard Comey that unfortunately didn't get answered, right? Or maybe they did. Like, I don't know. It was so fast. Um, it was over so quickly. Um, that I just, it's a good win. That's what I can say about it. It's a good win. Made the guy a champion. He beat a champion who definitely had some pop. Um, so going into the Loma fight, I thought he had everything he needed to beat Loma, either by knockout or by outboxing him if he can make him go backwards. Um, but I was worried about how much of the promotional responsibilities he was taking on right before the fight. Like, he just seemed to be carrying the whole damn thing. But
Okay.
I think he performed beautifully under the, like, it was just a lights issue for me. Like, it was, it was his first time in the big spotlight, and he's got to do all this damn work, right? So I thought it was going to be like an adrenaline dump for him, and Lone was going to be able to take advantage. But he was cool, calm, and collected the whole way. He did his thing. He talked his talk and walked his walk. I was very impressed by the entire deal. I actually lost a lot of respect for Loma the way he fought, right? But I'm not the one taking the punch, so whatever. Um, yeah, until further notice, I think everybody should just be favoring Tiafimo to win at 135 pounds. Um, but I think Tank gives him a hell of a fight, but Tank, I don't know. Um, Tank looked real doughy at 136 pounds. I think Tio comes in real big and real fast and something to prove and a chip on his shoulder. I don't know. That's a real tough fight for Tank. Um, yeah, I doubt ever we'll see Tank versus Devin Haney. That don't
I
even,
agree with that. Now I
yeah,
agree with that.
right. So, um, yeah, and right now I would favor, ooh, I would favor Tio to beat Devin, but that is a hell of a fight too. That's like 55-45. I got to see that fight. I really want to see that fight. That's the fight I actually want to see. Loma, I think Devin has a tough fight on his hands with Loma. So if he doesn't get Fortuna or Ryan, go into that fight with Loma. You've been talking about how you wanted to fight him forever. So
It's amazing that people are not calling for Devin Haney, Vasil Lomachenko, but yet they were screaming how Vasil Lomachenko vacated the WBC belt and supposedly, allegedly ducked Devin Haney. But the fight was never signed as a mandatory. But now, these fighters, some are catching these fighters off a loss. Why not catch Lomachenko? I know Lomachenko is trying to get a rematch with Tio, but they pretty adamant. They don't want to run it back with Lomachenko. So why not, if he doesn't get the Garcia fight, Devin Haney goes in there and
Well,
fight for Vasil Lomachenko. But
well,
as I
hey,
said,
oh, no, go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No, no, I was gonna say, well, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I agree with that, bro. I would not give him any rematch. Loma was completely disrespectful, bro, and wasn't gonna give him one. So,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? That was fucked up. I mean, he completely came out and said, I ain't giving him nothing and this and that. And now all of a sudden he lose and he want a rematch. Nah, man, he's been thinking he's God and shitting on fighters for so long, and he was overhyped to begin with. And I never saw him like that to begin with. So, I mean,
yeah,
you know,
yeah, he was like, remember he was doing the offer like a payday loan. I'll give you 100K and you
yeah,
have to give it back to me if you lose. Like, dude, get your
Yeah, dude,
fucking
that's arrogance
ass
right
out of
there.
here.
it's
That's
arrogance,
ego.
bro. And now that you lost, It's your shoulder. He paid off the judges. How the hell they paid off the judges when Bob Arum thought you was gonna win the fight? Bob Arum,
Exactly.
Bob Arum a week before was on live and was telling Tio, Tio, I really think that he's gonna win. Like fucking, and Tio's like, I'm sorry, but your boy's gonna get it. Your boy's gonna get it. I mean, come on, bro. Like, I mean, seriously, now you lose, and everybody suddenly has a conspiracy theory against you, bro, and your shoulders messed up, and on that special. He said for the first, he said during the Linares fight I was hurt. During the Campbell fight I was coming off an injury. He's like, this is for the first fight in a long time. I'm 100%. Now, but now you got an injury. It's all bullshit, bro.
Absolutely, man. That's the most I've heard one person on my platform say what I've been saying about Lomachenko. I mean, I don't know how many Facebook groups I was kicked out of by saying that Vasyl Lomachenko was a bit overhyped. I never said he couldn't box.
Oh
I
man,
just said he was a bit
they'll hop
overhyped.
on you for that, bro. They'll hop on you, bro. They'll if you criticize a certain people on their man. Listen, I've been kicked off for and look, and these are boxers that some boxers I really like. For instance, I like Deontay Wilder. I just said I didn't like, maybe even if the glove gate was true. I just said maybe I wouldn't have handled it like that. But then again, I'm not in his situation, but or if it's another boxer, like for instance, I love Jamel Charlo. So when I tell, and I like Canelo, and I said I like to see that fight. So sometimes I'll say that, and another a Canelo extremist will start getting on me. But even if I say it to a person that doesn't like Canelo, oh, they'll hop on me. Like, it's crazy. It's like, well, I can't like both fighters. Like, come on, man. It's like, listen. I critique fighters, bro, just as much as I like them. You know what I mean? But it is Loma. I just never saw that with him. I never saw him. The only fight I've ever seen him with, I guess, was Linares, and maybe Gary Russell Jr. was probably. Who has he really fought that was like? I mean, that was like up there. I mean, like he could have fought so many people that we really, if he would have fought the people that we thought he could have fought, then maybe I would have gave him more props. But then again, Tank could have fought him and didn't. So I mean, and there were other fighters that kind of avoided him too. So
I mean, just because he called out Tank doesn't mean Tank ducked him. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
He was just trying to call out Tank, and we all know Floyd Mayweather finalized those decisions over there at
yeah,
TNT. You know that.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? But I
yeah.
agree. Lomachenko in general. First of all, you tell people that Lomachenko himself fought for his share of vacant titles too, and when he fought Gary Russell Jr., he won by split decision, even when getting knocked down and it wasn't called. But he fought Gary Russell for a vacant title. You know what I'm saying? People believe that Lomachenko was a champion. He was not, and Russell had to come down and wait to fight Lomachenko. But anyway, he did what he was able to do. I enjoyed watching everybody, root for Lomachenko going in this TO fight. It was only a select few, including myself, that was going for Teofimo Lopez. And, once it was all over, they pretty much discarded him like he was some type of freaking trash. You know what I'm saying? But yet he brought it on himself even more. I don't think he's gotten enough criticism just yet on talking about the shit was fixed and he had a shoulder injury and everything you just mentioned.
Yeah, he
That's
said
not what we
he said
expect.
the judges were paid off. He said that in
Yeah, he
one of
said
them.
it was fixed and shit. The judges were paid off. I don't hear the vilification though. If you only get on Deontay Wilder for saying, what he said about the gloves and what happened to him, I don't hear anyone
Right,
praising him for
right.
getting off the canvas for
Bro, you're not going,
twice.
you're not going to, like, it's not, and it's for a real simple reason. Deontay Wilder is a way bigger star than Lomachenko, and like more people know, more people feel deeply about him. Like, love him or hate him, there's just a lot more interest in Deontay Wilder than there is in Lomachenko.
It's this thing about these European fighters too. I don't, and listen, like I said, I don't knock anybody, so I don't want anybody from UK to be coming over here and start fucking with me or something. But I love everybody, bro. But it's just like with European fighters. Sometimes you have that wave like with Anthony Joshua. I like Anthony Joshua, but you got people that don't like him. You got people that just don't like him. But it's the same thing. How you gonna get on Wilder for making, I guess what you say, excuses, which I may not agree with either? I'm gonna get on Loma the same way. That's excuse, bro. How you gonna sit there and say that the judges paid off the fight, and you got a shoulder injury, and Bob Arum's against you, when just last week Bob Arum was rooting for you, and everything was fine, and you was
Bigger than
100%. And you was 100%. Come on, man. Just keep it real. You got your ass whooped, bro. You was scared. You was scared. The first 6 rounds, you was scared, bro. Just say it, bro. Or if you don't want to say you're scared, just say you was cautious.
I, you know, I, I think
The
I
more
think he,
innocuous term.
Yeah.
I think he there's two things, right? Two schools of thought. I think he felt that body attack and realized he didn't have that angle that he usually has, and he then decided to sort of let the guy go into deep waters, get him tired out, right? Like tire himself out. Um, try to put mental pressure and physical pressure. Not so much physical, but mental. Right, just make him work a little bit. But then he just got started a little bit too late. He got started first off too late, not even a little bit too late. He got started too late, and then the thing that undermines this whole idea about taking him into deep waters because you're supposed to drown him. I don't know how much he went for broke. Maybe in the 11th. Yeah, I mean he tried. He did try. He tried to get him out of there, but Tio was throwing leather back. Even if you take rounds 7 through 10, and you give him to Loma, it's not that it wasn't that because it wasn't competitive, right? Tia was still touching him through all those rounds. I think the one round I can give to Loma definitively, without any sort of shadow of doubt, for me is the 11th.
That's what's up. That's what's up. I mean, I think more people are just trying to find ways to give Lomachenko first round through the sixth. You know what I'm saying? He didn't do too much,
Yeah,
man. You know what I'm saying?
that's crazy. And you know
Yeah,
what, bro?
some
Oh
people say the
man.
second round, but I don't. Yeah.
And you know what really, oh man, this is crazy too. So then you got people like, listen to this, world combat, like people like Teddy Atlas, right? All right, so you seeing his, I don't know if you've seen his scorecard, right? But because he loves Lomachenko, he makes this damn long ass damn video of round by round by round. And then as you get up to round 12, it's like tied, right? And then that's how he's got it, like a swing round going into the 12th. And just because Teddy Atlas is who he is, right? You'll see people argue. That's what they're arguing, right? And I'm like, come on, bro. Like if you don't see that there's bias, that there's, if you can't judge it by looking at yourself, bro, just turning off the volume and just looking at the thing. I mean, I mean, you're always gonna find somebody that's riding with somebody. If you don't think Andre Ward is biased towards certain boxers or Tim Bradley is, I mean, it's crazy, man. How can you watch that fight and tell me going into the 12th round that you got Loma and Tio tied? How the fuck do you, what glasses are you watching? It's on ESPN, first of all. Are you on the right channel, first of all? That's what I tell them, because like I don't know, like the first 6 rounds, you can't give a man a tied fight when the first 6 rounds he didn't really do anything. He only threw a punch when just to keep another man off him, and then the rounds he did win, they were competitive. They were swing rounds. Tio was the aggressor the whole fight, basically. So I mean, I just don't see it. I don't.
So, and this is just sort of just a general statement about commentators. Like some guys are company men and some guys are there to do a job, right? And for me, I don't begrudge them that responsibility. I'm not going to feed their families, right? So there's that part of it. Another part of it is just the realities of the way we see fights, right? So the vantage point, I think, comes into play and a lot more than I think people realize. Like fans at home, we're all seeing it from one view, but the judges there are all seeing it from their own separate vantage point. That's why even they don't have the same opinions. But even beyond that, the idea that the four criteria are actually judged 25% each by every single person or every single judge, I think is unrealistic, right? I don't think people take into account their own personal preferences, vantage points, and then also the responsibility of the people who are talking. Right? So that's my little ramble on it. Like I always feel something about what I'm looking at, but I realize I'm looking at the television broadcast, and I have my own personal biases. I probably rate defense higher than other people would.
Defense is very important, man. You know what I'm saying? But they sometimes only label it for certain fighters. You know, certain fighters they will praise the defense, and others, oh, they don't need defense. That's boxing. You know, we want to see adversity. We want to see them go in there and leave it all in the ring. But this day and time, that's not the smart way to box. It's all about longevity. You know what I'm saying? You want to be Floyd, but you trying to change, you know, the way he was able to get the title and earn the respect of the people. You know, people was paying to see Floyd lose. They wanted to see Floyd lose, but the way he made it look, these fighters, they want to be compared, but they just not putting in the effort of getting up at 2 or 3 in the morning or whatever the case may be. Genetically, you know, they might be missing some strands of DNA or whatever to be a freak of nature. But when it comes down to, you know, what my thumbnail consists of with individuals that's boosting up Ryan Garcia to basically be top 3, I think for sure it's extremely biased and it lacks integrity. Real talk, it lacks integrity because you just want to convince the people that Ryan Garcia is top 3 in front of Gervonta, or Ryan is top 3 in front of Devin Haney. But yet you're not comparing the styles. You're not comparing that Luke Campbell's style was pretty decent matchup stylistically for Ryan Garcia. 2 flat-footed fighters. Kudos. That's the same thing I looked at when I saw Richard Comey and Ray Beltran. I say, good. Stylistically, they match up well. Richard Comey is going to have success in this fight. And he did. But when you get a boxer like Devin Haney, you know what I'm saying, Teofimo Lopez, you know, who's been in there with the top 2 pound for pound, it would be an absolute problem. And Gervonta Davis, it would be a problem for Ryan Garcia. You know what I'm saying? It would truly be a problem for a flat-footed, you know, social media star. I could say he a contender, but I wouldn't suggest he step in there with a Teofimo Lopez just yet, Gervonta. And I want to say even Devin Haney, because Devin Haney will box freaking Ryan Garcia's ears off to me. That's just me. But you know, once again, what is the equalizer? The equalizer is going to be Ryan Garcia's power, you know, his speed, his placement, and you know, what can Devin Haney exploit? That's a question that I have. You know, what is Devin Haney going to exploit against Ryan Garcia? And you know, this another thing, it wasn't too much holding going on, clinching with Ryan Garcia and Luke Campbell. I'm not sure if Ryan Garcia knows how to, because he's gonna need that if he gets in trouble with some of these other fighters that have power. Like, you know, once he gets hurt with a Teofimo Lopez and Gervonta Davis, you know, is he going to be able to hold on effectively?
Yeah, and just because a person is with a certain trainer, doesn't mean that they're gonna completely change. That's on the fighter. I mean, that's only for so much that a boxer can do. You know what I mean? Like a trainer means something, absolutely. And yeah, a boxer can change, but that doesn't necessarily mean. I mean, so you're saying if I get with Eddie Reynoso, I'm gonna start knocking people out? I mean, and
Well, shit goes. Sugar Hill, he came in Tyson Fury's life and introduced him to the power of light.
oh, I'm not gonna get into that because you know.
I mean, that's what people saying. He introduced him to the power of light, and he was able to go in there and become a puncher that he's never been in his entire career.
That is kind of strange, ain't it? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Sugar Hill claimed himself. But then he said he hadn't seen his other fights to know what he changed right now. It was kind of
Correct.
strange.
He hadn't even looked at his other fights. I'm like, come on, man. Which one? Come
Yeah,
on, man.
it was real strange. He waved his Sugar Hill wand.
Yeah, that fight, from what I'm hearing, you know, not to sway too much off, the subject. I really want to see that third fight between Fury and Wilder. It's a lot going on, whether Joshua is going to drop the WBO and all this other crap. I just want to see a trilogy. I want to see the trilogy between Wilder and Fury, amid all the controversy. I just want that shit settled. I want to see Wilder get back in there and get his belt back.
I want to see a trilogy too. I'll be rooting for Wilder, but I understood but my primary interest is who is the best of this generation. Like I root for Wilder, but I'd want to actually answer to this question. And this trilogy to me will clean all of it up. As far as I'm concerned, you could say Tyson Fury's up 1 and there's a draw. Some people would say it's 1-1. Some people say it's 2-0. But I want to see this whole thing to clear up all the controversies. I feel like it's still on the books. It's 1 in the draw. So let's do this. Let's do this third one, and whoever wins this whole thing, move on. And then let's see the next group of who can beat who, right? Because it's not even a triangle theory for me. Like I want to see Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, AJ fight each other at probably 2 or 3 times just to get a sense of who actually is the number one guy, like we got with Lennox Lewis and Holyfield and Tyson. We didn't get Vladimir Klitschko with Lennox, and we didn't get Vlad versus Vitaly, right? So, but we did get it earlier on. I would love to get it. I'd love to get that little tournament going so we can just crown a champ, because none of those guys are going to be all-time greats, right? They're all going to be Hall of Famers. So I'd just like to know who's the best one.
I'd like to see a tournament, but man, asking a lot from the heavyweight division to be in the tournament. I'd love to see a tournament, man, in some of these lighter divisions too. But speaking of Joshua, who has he provided a rematch that's significant outside of Ruiz? Because he had to go back and get the belts. You know what I'm saying? I'd definitely like to see, Anthony Joshua be more active on with some of the fighters over here in the US. And I just look at him in his safe haven over there. I really want to see him in 2021 fight somebody that's very dangerous for him. Because I know he's a unified champion, but he allowed Andy Ruiz, who's the last minute replacement, to come lift his titles. So, regardless of what he's been able to do after that with Kubrat Pulev, I do not care about Kubrat Pulev. I really want to see who's next, man. I know he has Alexander Usyk. Come on, give me a break. I'm not even putting any type of enlightenment on Alexander Usyk, man. He looked subpar to me against Derek Chisora. So I want to see Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder before they retire.
I want to see that fight.
Once I saw Tony, at the ease at which Tony Bellew was touching Usyk, I lost all interest in him as a heavyweight, right? He didn't even have to move up. It didn't take Chaz Witherspoon in order for me to be out on Usyk as a heavyweight. However, I'm not gonna hate on a guy's getting his bread and fulfilling his obligations, because after all, they are getting punched in the face for money. And Usyk, I'm sure, is going to land a couple of shots on AJ, right? I don't think Usyk is going to win that fight or anything like that. But I'm just saying, overall, the interest for me in the entire division really is really these guys mixing it up while they're close to their primes to see who's the best of the generation. Otherwise, I expect that they're going to beat everybody else. I don't think Dylan White's going to beat him. I don't think Povetkin's going to beat him. I don't think Luis Ortiz is going to beat him. I don't think Andy Ruiz is going to beat him.
I would like to see Luis Ortiz, in there with one of those fighters, Anthony Joshua or something like that. King Kong, his only 2 losses is Deontay Wilder. So, yeah, he's one of these, they call him one of these fighters that's mostly avoided. So that'll be a good fight, in my opinion, for Joshua. So if he goes in there and stop Luis Ortiz, then I have to look at Joshua a little bit differently because I've been very critical of Anthony Joshua. I feel that he's robotic. He has a suspect chin, and anyone can look at his fights and say that's not just based off one fight. He's been on the canvas several times. He's quit against Andy Ruiz, but I want to see him just face one of the. I think him facing Tyson Fury is not my first choice. I would definitely like to see him face Deontay Wilder, more so Tyson Fury for the undisputed titles because of the intrigue. The intrigue to me, when it comes to those two stepping in there, is what I want to see. We've seen Tyson Fury make a fight look extremely boring in there against Klitschko, but man, that's so far off the damn compass. I'm just talking fantasy shit.
Yeah, well, we know that when it comes to exciting fights, that's Deontay Wilder's middle name, right? Or that's what his tagline should be. As a matter of fact, he is so exciting that he, even in a loss to Tyson Fury, it was still the only time we've seen Tyson Fury in exciting fights. It was in two with Deontay Wilder, right?
Right.
Yeah, so I mean, I get you on the excitement level, and the stakes being on there. I think the eyes of the world would be electrified and all that stuff. Like when spectacle meets the specimens, then that's when boxing is at its best. However, I just would like to see the fight because I'm tired of not seeing fight. Like the fact that didn't see Lennox versus Vlad still just sits somewhere in my consciousness, right?
Yeah, yeah. A lot of individuals, just like seeing Roy Jones fight Mike Tyson at this stage in their lifetime, and basically once again register numbers that's a bit higher than some of the young fighters that's active professionals. I mean that says something about boxing, man. It's weird.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I don't think people realize when they talk about marinating fights that was a fight that marinated for 17 years, and
damn.
it was an exhibition, and people ate it up like it was the best thing since boiled water and sliced bread.
Yum yum, man. Hey, I want to ask you what you think about the situation with Canelo Alvarez. Okay, he disperses Yildirim. I don't see Yildirim being any problem for Canelo Alvarez. Um, somehow I believe they're pretty much blackballing. I wouldn't say too much, but it's gonna be a while before he even gets within the window of challenging for a title again. That's David Benavidez. I would like to see Canelo fight the former WBC champion David Benavidez. Um, really before he fights Billy Joe Saunders. I just don't like Billy Joe. It's something about that guy. I'm not saying he's not down to bang, but I just don't like him, man. I definitely like to see David Benavidez get the shot with Canelo Alvarez. And, for Jamal Charlo, who say he'll move up to 68 to fight Canelo Alvarez, Canelo is not even mentioning his name. You know what I'm saying? They're not even mentioning the Jamal Charlo's name. So I don't know what's up next for him. Move up to 68 and fight David Benavidez. He beats David Benavidez now. He has the best opponent on his resume, bar none to date, in Jamal Charlo. Now his name is haloed differently. Now he may get the interest of Canelo Alvarez.
Right now, Charlo needs a Hall of Fame shine. He needs unification and a Hall of Fame shine. That is, in one shot, it is Triple G. Triple G looked like hot garbage as far as I'm concerned in his last fight. I saw a bald spot and I saw an aged fighter. Like, not only is his hairline starting to tell you what's going on, but that performance, you need to figure out a way to pay this dude off to, attach his legacy to yours. Is what I see for Jamal Charlo. And other than that, there is no amount of fights that is going to prompt Canelo fans of the sport of boxing that he needs to fight Jamal Charlo.
For real, you ain't never lied on that shit.
That he can beat every single other person who doesn't have a belt. Even if he beats other guys with belts, all Canelo has to do is move to another weight class and fight other guys with belts and whatever.
So they just elevated Ryota Murata, to the WBA. I really don't see even Jamal facing him unless they come out the blue like Jamel did and say he's facing Jason Rosario out of the blue. So maybe Jamal Charlo can come out and say, "Hey, I'm unifying the damn 160-pound division, and I'm facing Murata." Murado. So
Yeah,
let's see
petition
that
for it.
happen.
Yeah. I'm not. I wouldn't be mad at it. That's what all he can do is grab all the belts, become the unified champion at middleweight, defend it a couple times. Hey, I don't think that the Canelo fight is going to happen for you. I don't know that there's.
What for Triple G or
Yeah,
Jamal?
exactly. Right, the Triple G.
Okay.
Yeah, the Triple G. That's also a long shot, but that's the one that I see. That's your pathway, right? Other than just doing it the hard scrabble way of Bernard Hopkins fighting a bunch of years in obscurity, defending titles, right, and grabbing titles.
What you think about that fight there, Ghost? You think Triple G and Canelo is a fight that interests you, man, or what?
Which one? A third one? No, not really. I don't really want to see it.
Nah,
Do you
Triple
rank
G
him
and
as one of the
Canelo.
best middleweights ever?
Huh?
Do y'all rank Triple G as one of the best middleweights ever in the top three?
No,
Ever? No, I can't say ever. I can't say ever.
I
That's
mean,
that.
after he finished fighting Zarameda, shit, he had his hand up in there and thinking he broke records and he's the best one ever. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, listen, I have no problem saying within the past generation. I have no problem with saying that. Like, I have no problem saying Floyd was the best fighter in my generation. But to say the best fighter ever, that's a long span, bro. Like that's going back since boxing started, bro. Maybe he's the best middleweight within the past. I don't know. He did hold a record, but he didn't fight everybody that we wanted to. It's all subjectable, man. But I don't think so. No.
I'm looking at the 140-pound division, man, and we have Ramirez and Taylor there, 2 belts apiece, and no one's really talking about the damn fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, no one's really giving them any shine. I know the hardcore boxing fans know that matchup is just festering right now, but man,
I want the,
um,
I want. I said exactly what you said. Everybody's well. He's lost his belt sniffing, and he lost his belt eating, and he don't deserve a fight. And I'm like, everything you say is absolutely fact, and it is still doesn't mean a damn thing to me when it comes to my desire to see the fight.
yeah,
Deserve got nothing to do with it. Playing the game the right way got nothing to do. Whatever. I want to see that fight.
I want to see it too, man. Regardless, him fucking off the scales or whatever he was doing with the water retention from the damn nose powder or whatever. He need to get his shit together because it'll be an interesting fight for him to do that. To step in there with Canelo Alvarez and Canelo. You know, Canelo is basically setting the bar. You know what I'm saying? Right now, Canelo is the bar in a lot of ways because he's able to move as he see fits. He is the bar, but I also want to see Canelo face some big names that's out here, man. Seriously. I don't want him to take his authority too much and bore the fans. I really want to see him select a big name after Yildirim. I hope it's not Billy Joe Saunders, but I really want to see him fight a Benavidez or Caleb Plant or Mar Charlo, in the 3rd pick or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. No Daniel Jacobs. Whatever you do, Canelo, I don't want to see Daniel Jacobs again. Leave
No,
that shit alone.
no, Billy Joe Saunders. I'm not interested in that. I think if Chris Eubank actually had a left hook, then he would have won that fight. Um, but yeah, if you're gonna challenge yourself, I would be very impressed with a B-ball win. But I think B-ball is also another guy that's a little bit that style that I've seen Canelo just like take apart so many times. I don't necessarily need to see it, although I still would be impressed if he did it. Better Beef, yeah, if he went up and beat those guys, I'd be impressed. But again, they have styles that I've seen Canelo already fight.
Oh, so you think he's just gonna fluctuate between super middle and light heavy?
If that's what I mean, he's saying he's not going back to 160 unless it's for Spence, which I think is excellent news for PR wise for Spence, but kind of weird for Canelo. But now, yeah, what's he gonna do? Just be super middleweight for the rest
I
of his
think it's
career?
weird for Spence too. That smoke shit. I don't want to see that fight. Believe me, I don't want to see the fight
Yeah, I
because
mean,
I just think it's going to be a wash. It's going to be a lopsided affair. The intrigue, the build up, and everything else. But I just like Mikey Garcia did the Broner, and just like Errol Spence did the Mikey. Canelo's going to do the Errol Spence.
well, okay, so I would agree if they were in if they were in a similar boat, right? Like it's all about when the fight happens. To me, um, and also it also looks like what Errol Spence looks like next. That was a very shaky performance. What I saw for judging from one performance to the next. Like first off, he was in a tough one with Porter, so I wanted to see what he looked like in his next fight anyway. And then he got into a car accident, and now he seems to be a different fighter. Um, let's see what he looks like the next time out. Like he may be more defensively responsible. I'm not sure. And if so, he needs to get with somebody who's a better defensive coach. If he's going to be more defensive minded and just like get behind the jab and cruise to victories, then he needs to work on his defense a lot better if he's not going to be, throwing caution to the wind and just throwing a ton of shots to a guy. But if he worked his way through 154 and had a couple of fights at 160 and the fight happened in like 3 years, I think Canelo is, I think Canelo is definitely slowing down on his output and his foot action. Um, he's still a good fighter. Yeah, if he stays at 160 for 3 years or so, and Spence moves his way up, I'd like to see it. I mean, Spence is naturally the bigger guy. I mean, he's naturally the taller guy, naturally the rangier guy. I don't, you know what? What's their reach like? I don't even know what their reach is like.
Hey, Smoke, we really gonna talk about height after seeing what we saw with Smith? God damn, dog.
No.
Errol Smith,
Okay,
man. Oh my God, you can't
right.
be any.
So, do I think that Errol Spence is a Callum Smith level fighter? I think that Errol Spence is more talented than Callum Smith. I think Callum Smith is okay, right? But again, he's a statue. Especially compared to Errol Spence. Like those kinds of guys, I don't know where that. Like for me, Errol Spence is a pressure fighter, come forward. So it's a little bit more like the Triple G fight than the Callum Smith fight.
And see, I reflect back on the Triple G fight with Canelo Alvarez because he just muted everybody. You know, you wanted Mexican style that Abel Sanchez, you got it, boom, and Triple G didn't know what the hell to do. I see the same type of forward aggression if he was to fight Errol Spence. I just look at Errol Spence as being I commend him for taking the risk and doing something different. He should be on the fast track on the backside of his career. He's getting older. He's contended. He's campaigned at a single division for titles. So he has to make some moves to try to solidify his legacy. And right now, if he's deterring any type of talks with Terrence Crawford, then he needs something spectacular. But if he think he's going to get the same effect that Canelo got when he fought Floyd Mayweather at this stage in his career, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen because he's too old. He's too far in his career. Errol Spence is at the top of the food chain. Unlike Canelo Alvarez, he was a bit green when he fought Floyd Mayweather. So, yeah, man, we're gonna have to see something. You saying you're on the verge of cleaning up the welterweight division. Let's get the Manny Pacquiao belt and let's fake Terrence Crawford for all the titles. That's all I want.
You know what? I wouldn't call Canelo green. Like he was, he had a bunch more evolution to do in his career, and he was young, but he had already beat a Hall of Famer at that point in Shane Mosley, and also beat a pretty.
How old was Shane Mosley at that time?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I said. He was a Hall of Famer even at that time, right? He was
Yeah.
already probably, he had his career and was a Hall of Famer at that point. But Austin Trout was he's a really good fighter, and in his prime at the time. The fight was weird, right? The whole Texas rules and the seventh
Yeah.
round judge and all that, and changing the strategy up. And I thought the scoring was off, right? That was the first hint of Canelo scoring, right? But that being said, he still was a unified champ. I think that as far as greenness is concerned, I think that Spence was a lot more experienced and a lot more polished as a fighter, but not quite as I don't know that he's tested. I feel like, okay, just point blank, I think Canelo was a lot more prepared by his experience to lose to Floyd Mayweather at that point than Errol Spence is at this point to face a Canelo Alvarez. But let's say Spence has like 6 more years of fighting that give him 12 fights. You know, let's say half of those are let's say half of those are his prime 6 fights. I think in 6 fights he could probably get to make it at least interesting at his 60, especially if Canelo is out there like banging with these big boys and like winning these wars of attrition. And his output getting lower and lower, and his feet getting slower and slower.
Yeah, I agree. Spence can make some moves on the backside of his career. He can, but they're going to have to be moves that's he's picking up championship straps just like Canelo's doing right now. Like the moves that Canelo is making from Rocky Fielding to Sergey Kovalev, to Callum Smith. He's making moves in all of these fights he's taking. There's straps involved. So that's the move he's going to have to make. Unfortunately, he's going to have to talk to Jermell Charlo and see what he has popping as far as his TBD on fighting for the WBO championship. And then after that, how long is it going to take for Jermell Charlo to vacate the titles and go to 60 and Maul go up to 68? Because I'm pretty sure that Errol Spence is going to stop in at 54 and fight for a vacant title off the rip. You know what I'm saying? So that's going to make him a 2-division champion, and then potentially drop up to 60, and pick up another belt.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. I apologize, but I think you're looking at the wrong thing. I think as long as Errol Spence is filling out Cowboy stadiums and is in championship fights, I don't think it matters very much that he's actually facing another champion, because nobody expects him to keep pace with Canelo Alvarez. As a matter of fact, nobody expects anybody to keep pace with Canelo Alvarez because they just don't have the ability.
But him filling up Cowboy Stadium is not going to, be something that they write on his legacy, for the Hall of Fame. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be that he was able to have 6 fights and he did these numbers right here, unless potentially he faced someone that's going to, break him into the top 5 PPV of all time. I mean, does that really matter? If he's not going for straps, like what is the benefit besides money that he's going to, benefit as a champion for his legacy?
Like that's what I said. That's what I was saying. Like, as long as there is a belt on the line, as long as he's a champion and you can do title defenses, then the title defenses will go a long way, right? He's been Fight of the Year candidate. I don't think he's got a Fighter of the Year yet. If he gets one of those, it has a run of defending against guys. If he picks up Undisputed, he probably will get one of those. He'll probably get a Fighter of the Year kind of thing.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. The writers, the boxing writers kind of, become a darling of those guys, make a bunch of money. Canelo, and the other thing is, as long as you fill out Cowboy stadiums, Canelo will fight you at 160 in Texas at Cowboy Stadium for huge money.
I believe that. I believe absolutely. Being he just left, what I'm saying? Yeah, I believe it. Canelo sees the moment. That's what he does, man. That's what Canelo does. So, yeah, Spence is just going to have to, make sure his itinerary is effective, because his window is narrowing, and he's going to have some good fights against some good names right now.
Oh, wait. Canelo dropped the 160 belt, though. It was 2 days ago, didn't he?
Yeah, the WBA.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he dropped it. But, Spence fighting Canelo at the Cowboy Stadium just to fight him, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You know what?
It still generates money.
Yeah, it does. And you know what though? But here goes the thing. And that I here goes the thing with that. Like, see, I gotta call Canelo out on that. So you'll go down and see that's just for money and legacy, exactly like you said. So you'll go down to 160, and you'll fight Spence, but you won't fight Charlo. I mean that doesn't make any sense to me. Well, it does make sense to me because I guess of the legacy and the fans and the money, but that's not gonna rub a lot of people the right way. But then again, it's not about that, I guess. So wouldn't you rather see him fight Charlo?
Yeah. I mean, I'd rather see him fight Charlo than Yildirim. Like Yildirim, I mean, he got a tough break in the well, that was a nasty cut. That was it was a tough break in the Darrell fight, but I thought Darrell was going to win that. It was only 2 rounds left, and Darrell was up by 2 points, so he could have pulled it out. But I thought Darrell was definitely had the momentum in that fight.
Yeah,
Um,
Charlo struggled with Derevchenko a little bit. He got hurt by a body shot in the eighth round, but I still think Charlo is a good fight for
yeah,
Charlo.
yeah.
I still think.
Yildirim, you're right. I just didn't want to dismiss Yildirim out of hand, just because he got knocked the freak out by Chris Eubank Jr. in that World Boxing Super Series.
Oh
Um,
yeah, I forgot about that. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that third round left hook that just totally separated dude from his sense. Oh yeah, that was nasty. But anyway, um, I thought he was doing pretty well against Durrell. But all that being said, I would rather see Charlo, a guy who has yet to taste the canvas and has yet to taste defeat.
I agree. I want to see them Charlo step up too, man. I'm happy to see Jabel Charlo on the brink of a unification. Yeah, I do. But I still believe Mel and Maul Charlo has so much left
Definitely,
to
yeah.
prove, man. The fact that they're twins and they was in the same division as champions before. I mean, Maul Charlo, if you chose to move up to 60, man, we need to see more. We need to see you
Exactly.
make,
Yep.
you know?
Exactly. Yeah. That's why I want to see I want to see him fight somebody like Canelo. I want to see him in a big fight. I want to see him fight the tougher opposition. Um, the same thing, and that goes for everybody. Like for instance, we were talking about this the other. I don't know how people feel about Caleb Plant, but I think it. I don't think like he's fighting Caleb Truax. Come on, man. I mean,
I like Sweet Hands though, man.
I love Sweet Hands. Listen, I love Sweet Hands, but look at it, bro. He's got the belt. All right, who he fight? Mike Lee, Viking Butts. Now,
Vegan boots.
Vegan, vegan,
Listen,
vegan boots.
listen, he needs a name, right? And by name, I mean Caleb. This is a fight for the first name Caleb. Like that's what the significance of this fight is, as far as I'm concerned. To me, when Truex beat DeGale, I just thought DeGale was washed up. I didn't think that Truex was good, right? That was years ago.
Yeah.
I just yeah,
But Miguel got his belt back.
yeah, and then looks shot to bits against Chris Eubank Jr. in his last. Anyway, it's just to get off the foot. I don't think Caleb Plant versus Caleb Truex is a fight worth discussing, but I do think Caleb Plant has a style that I would like to see versus Canelo, given what I see with Canelo's feet at this point, and what I've seen really historically throughout his career.
Yeah, and I
These
like to
are
see
the
him. I
guys.
like to see him versus Benavidez too.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's the Devin Benavidez fight. I I think they both are the same. They're about the same to me as far as risk for Canelo, but for different reasons, right? Just Benavidez is a big guy that throws a lot of shots, but he's also right there to swarm you and hug you and all that stuff. And I'd like to see Canelo. I'd like to see that fight. I think it'd be a good fight. He's got pretty decent hand speed, and both of those guys are going to be coming forward, I believe. As far as the Plant goes, I think that it'll be hard for Canelo to keep up. He couldn't beat Smith to the spot, so I don't think he's going to be beating Plant to it. Right? I don't think he's going to be able to cut the ring off. So I see Plant getting out the back door, slipping out the side, hitting him with shots and hooks, and I'd like to see that. But I still favor Canelo in both fights. but I'd like to see both of them.
I'm gonna tell you why I favor Canelo over Plant, and I'm not sure with Benavidez, but I'm gonna tell you why I favor him over Plant. First of all, Plant is a great, gifted boxer, bro. That's why I don't like to see him fighting somebody like Caleb Truax, and that's no knock on Caleb Truax. I just think he's just another level. Um, I think him versus Benavidez is good because they got history and everything like that. I can't wait to see that fight. But with Caleb versus Canelo, if you saw, and if y'all could help me with who did he get the belt off? Caleb, what was his name? That they would, yeah, him. Uh, if you remember later on in the fight, although Caleb knocked him down twice, and later on in the fight, and he could be better now. We got to remember people progress.
What, you talking about Uzkataki?
Yeah.
He lost to Lionel Thompson, man. He was knocked out down here in the ATL.
Yeah. Caleb, and I'm saying people get better. You know what I'm saying? That this is why I'm saying I can't knock him for he could be a lot better now on that. But I'm saying in that fight, I saw that later on in the fight, he was getting a little gassed. And even in the corner, you know how during the fight, how they talk to the trainers, and the trainers talk to the you know on TV, and they're like, oh, do you like what you're seeing from your fighter or whatever? And he was saying, yeah, we just want him to pick his shots and not get, I guess, like winded or whatever. So like I think like with Canelo, I think that in the earlier rounds, Plant would be doing okay. He just needs to. He's got great defense. I just think Canelo would probably catch him down the stretch. As far as Benavidez goes, that's a good fight, man. Because Benavidez has got the height and the reach, but Canelo has shown that he don't care if you're tall. That shit don't bother him. So.
And also a personal variable to that is they don't like each other at all.
Yeah.
You know, Caleb told me that twice in two different locations, one in Nashville and the other one at MGM. He say Benavidez is the easiest freaking one to fight in the division. He wants to fight Benavidez, but after his fight with Fegan Boots, Benavidez, we was all on the elevator, and he said basically Benavidez tried to send him a contract, which would be a short turnaround for him coming out of fight camp and going into a fight with Fegan Boots to step in there with Benavidez, and he turned it down. He said wasn't enough time for him to recover. Plus, his body would be, it wouldn't have enough time to recover.
Wait. He said that Benavidez said that he gave him something where after fighting Boots or whatever the hell his name is, he would have a short camp and he wouldn't. Ain't that a bitch?
Yeah, they submitted a contract to Caleb for a fight, and Caleb was like, it's not enough time with him being in a I guess a full fight camp for Vincent Fegan Boots, and then turn back around and fight.
Yeah.
David Benavidez.
You know why I'm laughing at that? Because when Canelo announced he was going to fight Callum Smith, Benavidez came out, and I don't know if it was on his like IG or live or whatever the hell, but he came out, and even on video, he was like, oh, look, he only gave him a couple weeks to train. He's like, next time I'm going to, my next fight, whoever the hell I'm going to fight, I'm only going to give him 3 weeks to train or whatever. And he doing this, he going to turn around and try to do the shit to Plant.
He did do it to Plant. He didn't try. He did. He did it before Canelo did it.
He did
it before Canelo. That's funny, that's bro. That's why you saw Caleb Plant. He did not take the Canelo Alvarez fight because he did not take fights on short notice.
Yeah, I don't blame him. Yeah.
But he was also supposed to fight Plant, and then Smith got put in the last moment, apparently because they couldn't figure out the pay-per-view schedule on by this December. I think they were going to bring him over. They were going to bring Canelo over to the PBC and do a pay-per-view, but the timing was not right. So apparently they're working on that deal, but that's probably like maybe towards the end of the year kind of thing, or who knows if that'll ever happen.
Well, I'll tell you, Caleb needs to do something more with his career because he's not getting any younger, and just holding on to that strap. He needs to do something for real. We need to see some excitement. We need to see some elite matchups. We want to see him in there with some top names, man. You know what I'm saying? Charlo, go up there and call out some of these guys at super middle, like a Caleb Plant, David Benavidez, man. Let's see it.
Yeah, what was I gonna say? Who was it? Yeah, definitely not. I don't even want to see Jacobs fight no more, bro.
I don't
That
want to
would,
see him fight anymore, man. I'm tired
no,
of Jacobs.
no.
You
And
know,
he,
you know, it's bad. There goes when the one framing moment that I remember about Jacobs when he pulled up on Marcelo, and he said, "Oh, it's at the right time." I
yeah,
actually believe that they was gonna fight. I said, "All right, cool, this is gonna be nice." Never happened.
yeah. But then when what's his name pulls up on him, he fights him. That's no knock on what the dude he just fought. What's his name? The,
Sergey,
no,
Sergey.
the dude he just fought, Jacobs. The Spanish dude out of Philly.
Oh yeah, yeah. Um,
Let me see.
Gabriel Rosado.
Yeah, Rosado. Yeah, so Rosado, they get into it, and that was kind of easy, I guess, to make. But you know, I don't know, man. It's kind of like sometimes you could read between the lines, bro. Like it's almost like I don't know if you've seen and this. I don't know if this was recent, and I don't know how recent it was, but and I said this on another channel. Bernard Hopkins was talking about how Floyd Mayweather has changed boxing for good and bad. So he was talking about all the good things that Floyd has done, and obviously just for fighters in general, but also black fighters, and he also helps out. He's got Hispanic fighters on the roster, just boxing in general. But he's also changed it in a way to now boxers. You know, when you ask them, who do you want to fight next? They always say, well, let me talk to my trainer, let me talk to my promoter, and all this other stuff. And he brought up, when Tank knocked out Leo,
Mhm.
they started to ask Tank, well, who do you want to fight? And before Tank even answered, Mayweather went to go grab the microphone. The microphone kept falling out or whatever. And he's like, hey, everybody want to ask a fighter right after the fight who they want to fight. He just want to go home to his family. And Bernard's like, man, listen, when I was fighting and I had the belt, I called out who I wanted to fight is who I wanted to fight. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It was real easy. I had the belt. If I said I wanted to fight this dude and this dude wanted to fight me, it was kind of easy. Yeah, there was always money involved, but but when it came down to it, if two people want to fight, it's gonna happen. He's like, but Floyd opened the market for it. And he didn't want to say ducking. He was very careful, but he was trying to say that he opened the market for a lot of like open market kind of social media type talk where a person just says, let me talk to my trainer or let me talk to this and that. You know what I mean? And that's a lot of times you could read between the lines, like when you see, like you said, Charlo bumps into Jacobs and shit. Well, when you see the fight not happening, that's because one of them didn't want the fight to happen. That's just plain and simple.
Solid, solid. Yeah, man. I mean, Floyd is somewhat like an internal power struggle between him and Tank. The relationship seemed a little bit dysfunctional. I don't know if it's all the way healthy, but when I was at the fight, his last fight where he knocked out Leo Santa Cruz, Gervonta did get on his knees and hug Floyd. So I felt that it was genuine. You know what I'm saying? I did. I felt that it was genuine because Gervonta could have just as well just stayed and paid attention to the decision and
Yeah,
then stepped out the ring and went back to the locker room. But he hugged Floyd,
yeah,
thanked him or whatever. But what we did see before that was what we saw Floyd take over the virtual the virtual training and made it about him.
yeah. And look, and yes, and damn, why am I forgetting names today, bro? It's killing me, bro.
Might be that old age, bro. You never know.
Yeah,
Welcome to the club, man.
hey man, that shit's killing me. What's Tank's trainer's name? I was just talking about him yesterday, bro.
Calvin
Uh,
Ford, Kenny Ellis.
Calvin Ford. So what? Calvin Ford, bro, has been with Tank, bro,
Since
forever,
a
bro,
kid. Yeah.
forever. And then he beats Leo and shit, and then and listen, I'm not saying Floyd hasn't. Floyd has done a lot for Tank, but we got to forget. Tank is the one fighting, and Calvin's been there for him. And it's just like Calvin's is all the way on the side of shit, and you don't hear him hardly talk. And like I'm looking at it when they're talking, and I'm just seeing Floyd taking over everything. And they ask Floyd, you know, hey, what's the weather tomorrow, Floyd? And you know, and it'll end up being about him in one of the fights he had. You know, it's always coming back to Floyd, and I think that's where the what you're talking about, the power struggle. uh Adrian Broner, that's the issue he had with Floyd when they when
Yeah.
they were when they were once, like when he was under his
Cool.
wing.
Yep. Yep.
That's how they bumped heads. They bumped heads. They bumped heads over that.
Well, if bumping heads is representing who made the better decision, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah, a lot
I
of pride.
mean,
It's a lot of pride involved, though. You know.
yeah, it's a lot of pride involved between them two. Come on, two egos like that. That's hard
Yeah,
for them not to implode. I mean, it's just disaster waiting to happen. It would have been genius if both of them could have put their minds together to make money together and build on the sport and create some businesses. But it
yeah.
just didn't go down that way, man.
You
It
remember
just
when
didn't go down that way.
you remember when AB called out Floyd in the ring?
Yeah,
Oh, that
yeah,
was crazy. That was crazy. He said, "Me and you got." He said, "Me and you got to fight." He said,
yeah. He said, "Man, you got to fight," and that
"Yeah,
would have been a damn good fight to make, man. People would have
yeah."
paid money for that.
I'd have paid for it. Hey, listen, let me tell you something. People talk shit about AB, and I know the saying is AB didn't throw a lot, but when AB was 130, I think 130 AB, ain't nobody was seeing AB back at 130. I think it was 130 or 135. Ain't nobody was. It was when he moved up. I don't think he didn't carry no power when he moved up, and but
AB
yeah,
did a Roberto Duran. You know, AB moved
yeah,
from 35 to 47,
hmm
fought Paulie. You know what I'm saying, and
yeah.
then moved back down to 40 and picked up a belt.
Yeah, 135 is where he was. Boy, ain't nobody was messing with. I was watching his fights the other day because I always go down that boxing hole on you. I love YouTube. That's one of the reasons why I love it, man. Because you could watch anything, and
Yeah,
I just start watching these old boxing fights, bro. And I went back and I was watching Broner, bro. 135 Broner. That was a bad boy, bro. Ain't nobody
yeah,
was. He was knocking people out.
he was, man. He did what he had to do, and certain people tend to ignore the fact that he's a 4 division champion. I don't care, what he does in the street. Adrian Broner is a 4 division champion, and
Yeah,
I do believe that it will come sometime or another. I'm not sure if I'll still be alive, but he may be in the Hall of Fame. You know what I'm saying? Seriously, he's a 4 division champion. He has the same amount of divisions as a Mikey Garcia.
yeah. And let me tell you
Okay, he
something.
doesn't have the resume,
Yeah.
but he does have the same amount of weight divisions.
And you know he's coming back. He's training right now. And let me tell you something. I truly believe that he has talent, bro. That he could definitely do something. I just don't think he could do it at 147. I think if he was to go down to 140 or to, if he could do it out of and I think he could do anything that he put his mind to. He's talented and
Yeah,
gifted, bro.
yeah,
I just don't think, like you said, 147. I just think 147 was too much for him. I just think it was. Some people don't carry the power with them. Some people do. Some people when they move up or move down, they either get drained or they don't carry something with them. And I just think that 140 and 135 is just the right spot for him.
man. When I see AB finishing the fight with Marcus Madonna, um, you know, I always look at it and do the what ifs. He would have trained properly, because the way he was knocked down in early rounds, he still finished the fight. And it's one of those fights, just like you're saying, going on YouTube. It's one of those fights I like looking at, because
Hmm.
AB is a tough mofo when it comes down to it, man. He's very talented. I don't think 47 was too much for him. I just think at that point in time he had too many distractions. That fight with Marcus Madonna, he even said the hardest he's been hit was by.
Yeah, I was right about to say that. Yep, I was right about to say that. He said it in an interview. The 12th round, I think he said. Broner
Yeah,
hit him.
Yeah,
yeah. The issue for me was probably not the training. It was the moment he humped Marcus Maidana and completely pissed off the wrong dude. Like that was just the wrong move. I don't think he was in that much trouble. I think he could have. It would have been a different fight had he not done that.
yeah,
But
the
it does. But that
Argentinian.
fight does remind me of like the, you know, Edwin Rosario, Macho Camacho, the moment where a guy becomes a different kind of fighter. And now he just spends way too much time not throwing punches and then also admiring the work. Like whether it's defensive or offensive, he just is way too much in love with his work for himself. It's like he's his own judge.
Yeah, man, I'm absolutely unsure as to why he wanted to dry hump Maidana when he wasn't winning the fight. I don't know if that's supposed to took some away from Maidana, some manhood. I don't fucking know, but it was the wrong move to make. And yes, he's down in Florida right now training. He's supposed to step into the ring at the end of the month, I believe. So yeah, I'm actually in contact with the camp. I'm actually trying to, you know, get down to that camp. That's
Yeah,
real talk, no cap.
I like to see who he's fighting, man. And like when you was talking about the humping thing or whatever, all those all those mind games. Sometimes like that shit could play against you. Like I said, I was watching the old fights with Tito Trinidad and Fernando Vargas. If you remember, when Vargas came into the ring, he had like this fake. I think he came in as like an Aztec warrior where he punched through these fake bricks or whatever like that, and
Yeah,
he punched through the bricks, and then they went to the where they come nose to nose or whatever, and Vargas was just got all the way up in Tito's face, bro. He just got up in his face and shit, and they were talking shit, and that caused Tito, because he talked about it in an interview. It caused him. He said right then and there. He said he came at him like, and he caught him within the first 15 seconds, and he knocked him
yeah,
down
he did.
twice.
Yep.
He said that shit. He said when he got up in my face and he came out, motherfucker, punching through like bricks and shit like that. He said, man, it caused me to be very aggressive. We had a whole different game plan, but when he did that shit, sometimes that shit can turn against you, bro. Those mind games. But
I
Yeah,
like
I don't
that
know.
energy
I
though.
think I think Nutshots played a huge part in that fight.
what'd you say? World Combat Energy? What?
I like that Fernando Vargas energy though, man.
Yeah. I liked him, bro. I liked him.
See, all right. So Fernando Vargas, wow. I've liked him better in retrospect, but coming up, I thought he's way too arrogant. Like, so it's funny.
Absolutely, he was arrogant.
It's funny that like my icon is kind of the way his thing was also. Like it's kind of just like giving the world a side eye. I didn't mean to do it like that, but he was always to me like looking down at people, and like that I Corte fight. I was like, man, like first off, I love the I Corte, but anyway, um, just his attitude after that fight. I wanted the guy to lose. I was tuning in to see that guy lose. But in retrospect, that guy, he fought everybody in a really small span of time. I was young as fuck.
Right, and actually, you know what? I think his arrogance somewhat pushed him to be the fighter that he was. I mean, like I said, I love boxing in general, but I've always had my favorite fighters from like I might have a favorite fighter, or I tend to watch a fighter more, or just tend to like him a little bit more. Like I loved Thomas Hitman Hearns. I love Tito Trinidad. Like I like Boots, I like Colbert, like that. But that doesn't mean I don't like fighters in general. But I see what you're saying. But yeah, like he had that. I think his arrogance caused him to be determined more. Like okay, like Ryan, you don't think Ryan? And I was gonna ask you this world combat because I forgot. You don't think Ryan, with that determination, you know how he wants to fight Tank, right? And
Yeah.
he keeps pushing that shit. He's pushing that shit more than he wants to fight Haney, right? So that's either telling me two things, right? It's telling me he either doesn't want to fight Haney, or he really thinks that he could beat Tank, obviously. But I don't you think that it pushes him? Do you think that helps him or hurts him?
In boxing, he should have that persona, man. He has uh, um the women as his primary fan base. So why not, you know, suck up the embarrassment of being dropped and
Yeah.
play into, you know, getting a big fight right now. He's 21-0, man. So why not try to go over there and fight Javante? I don't even see him winning the fight, but Ryan Garcia believes in something. I
Yeah.
don't know if it's the money. I don't know, man, because somebody might have told me, hey, 21-1 is not that bad. Ryan, call out Javante for the big PPV. Let's go. Let's get the money. Yeah, man. I don't see him beating Javante though. But if he
Somebody,
does, his career is on a whole nother freaking stratosphere, man.
somebody has to be in your camp. That has to be. I I don't know. Somebody listen. I don't know because I would think that you also have to be confident as a fighter. Just like when they asked Floyd, hey, we asked Errol Spence if you could beat Floyd, and he said yeah, and Floyd says, well, he's supposed to say that. So
Well, no one really took that as nutrition. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? You know, they was just like, okay, yeah,
yeah,
he said what he's supposed to say. It didn't have any value to it.
right, yeah. So, and what I'm trying, yeah, but what I'm trying to get is like when somebody in your camp, like, so for instance, I know we're not the only ones seeing. There's no way in the world that we're the only ones seeing me, you, and Smoke. We're not the only three seeing that Ryan Garcia. It's probably a bad idea for him to fight Tank next. I know there's a lot of people out there thinking that, oh, he's gonna smoke Tank. He's gonna smoke Tank. I know we're not the only three seeing. I don't know that might be a bad idea. I know that can't be possible. So you mean to tell me there's nobody in his camp that's probably like, hey, listen, you might need to slow down. You might need, you know what I mean? People just, you can't just have yes men around you all the damn time, bro.
You know what I was thinking, Ghost and Smoke? I was saying that you know how Floyd Mayweather went 2-for-1 with Marcus Madonna. It'll be good to get a 2-for-1, you know, just like Anthony Joshua did with Andy Ruiz. You know, just imagine if Ryan went over there and defeated Tank and they had a rematch. That's two paychecks, man, off one fight. And it really wouldn't affect either fighter. You know what I'm saying? Because if he's able to go in there and defeat Tank and Tank go back and defeat him again, people gonna want to see that fight. Both of their stock is going to go up. I'm just doing that fantasy shit or whatever. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
All I'm, you know, both of these fighters, man, will sell PPV. And I know Marcus Madonna, he took up the he took my I mean Floyd Mayweather scooped up my Donna and hit him for two. You know what I'm saying? He fought him two times, man, for a nice little paycheck.
Yeah. What they see, that's the whole issue. I don't see Tank fighting Haney, T.O., or Ryan under Mayweather. Call me crazy. I just don't see it. I don't see it. I see Mayweather as, I'm not saying that he's not confident in Tank. I think he's just confident in keeping his investment. I think, believe it, like we all know, Mayweather is about Mayweather. He's about Mayweather.
I
You
think
know.
he is confident in Tank, man. He want to make as much money off him as possible.
Yeah,
So you
I think
think?
so too. I
So,
think
so you think?
he'll
So you
make the
think?
Ryan fight. I don't think that the Ryan fight is worth it. Anything. I think people.
You
I
don't
think
think the Ryan
fans.
fight's worth anything? You don't think
No,
that? Okay, so you don't think? So you don't think that with Tank's fan base and Ryan's fan base is not a money fight? The Tank even
okay.
said it. Tank said it out his own mouth, though. Tank said it out his own. Hold on, wait. Smoke. Hold on, don't smoke.
Okay, I'm listening. I'm listening.
Okay,
I thought you were done.
okay. Tank said it out his own mouth that he's waiting for Ryan. He's waiting for Ryan. He said it. He's like, I'm waiting for Ryan. That's my money fight. That's my money fight. He said it. That's my money fight.
Who said that Ryan is his money fight?
Tank.
All right, so Tank was saying that Loma was his pay per view fight, and listen, I don't know what Tank says about like what he knows about business or what he knows about money or anything like that, and I'm not taking anything from him, taking away anything from it. Like as a matter of fact, a couple of days ago, I was in the grocery store listening to listening to a stream. Oh no, I was listening to the Luke Campbell Ryan Garcia press conference. I was shopping and I would imagine like a middle-aged, black woman was like, "The Ryan's fights tonight." I thought it was on Saturday, and it was like Friday. Yeah, I was like, "No, it's tomorrow, or maybe it's a Thursday or something like that." Anyway, I was like, "No, it's this Saturday." And so I've listened to boxing any number of venues. I don't know any other women who are tuning into a fight like the Tyson Fury Wilder fight sort of crossed over into the like larger sports fan watching it thing. But I'm not taking anything away from Ryan's star power when I say when I say I don't know that he's a proven quantity on the level that Floyd Mayweather's looking at when he talks about money fights.
Okay, I can see what you're saying.
Floyd, he was a genius with himself, and when you look at his stable, who else is in there? On the same level. You can't say Rolly, but right now Tank is his cash cow. So being that he himself is one of the greatest to do it, he hasn't quite found out the template yet. You know what I'm saying? To develop another fighter to emulate what he's been able to do in his career. And right now, Tank, he's trying to hold on to him as long as he possibly can, man.
Yeah,
Seriously.
and he even said about Rolly, and the reason why I said I don't think he'll fight Ryan next, and maybe it could have changed. It could have changed over yesterday. Like I said, I don't know these people personally. I just go off from what I watch and what they might say, and people might just say a thing in front of the cameras and do something differently. But he said, they asked him about Ryan, and Mayweather said, "Fuck no." He says, "I'll tell you what. I'll put 200,000 on if he could beat Rolly, then I'll let him fight Tank." So I mean, and y'all know Rolly don't like Ryan. Rolly don't like nobody. Fucking
Correct.
Rolly don't like nobody. But there's an old video of Tio and Rolly rolling up on Ryan, and they were calling him out, and even Tio's father was there.
Yeah, you talking about at the fight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and Rolly, because they have some issues with sparring, and Rolly, I guess from what I'm seeing, it looks like Ryan might have got the better of Rolly, and Rolly's like, "Yo, run that back," and Ryan is like, "Nah, yo, get the fuck out of here! Like, stop following me, you groupie." You know what I mean? That
Yeah.
shit is
I,
funny,
I would
bro.
like to see that fight between Ryan and Rolly once he gets about 4 or 5 more fights. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Assessing how Rolly looked against Jackson Marinez,
Oh man.
I was extremely like disinterested to see him fight again. I was like, what the fuck are you doing?
He
Why
was
are you
crazy.
staying to the same plan and throwing them the power shots? Like he was fighting. You know what? That boxing match reminded me of the doghouse. Floyd Mayweather's dog pound or doghouse rules. It just seems like that's what Rolly is. He's a bruiser. That's
That's
what he
it.
fights like, a bruiser.
That's it. And all his training is that's exactly it. If you look at all his training, it's just doghouse. It's like Rolly was brought up. You know what? And it's like I look at the movie 300. He reminds me of like one of them little babies that they just threw in the fucking den, and they just and he's scrapping every fucking day, and that's all he knows how to do is fight in the doghouse. But he has no technical type of skill. He just throwing fucking. He's just a savage trying to that, bro. You're not gonna last long, bro. You're not gonna last long. And he didn't win his last fight. He was gifted a decision. Um, and I don't even know if he's fighting him. I know he's fighting next, but I don't think he's fighting that guy next, is he? He's
No,
fighting.
he's not fighting.
Well,
Rolly,
yeah, that guy's fighting.
Richard Comey.
Yeah, Comey. Yeah, thank you.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so I'm like, I mean, Rolly just looked terrible, man. I'm not saying he doesn't have heart. Rolly has the motherfucking heart, though.
Yeah, he's got heart, bro.
He
He's
has a
got
he
heart.
has a motherfucking boxing pulse. But he's a bruiser. He reminds me of an old school Rocky Marciano who was willing to take several punches just to get off his own. And in that time, Marciano took so much punishment, man. I
Yep.
mean, extreme punishment. And looking at Rolly Romero, how young he is, he's going to end up having pugilistic or something. Being so young and taking the amount of punches he's taking, man.
And I think honestly, and I think he kind of knows that, which is why he calls out the fighters he's calling out now. I think he's trying to get all the money that he can. And people knock Rolly, but hey, like you said, he's got heart, bro. He's called. I mean, people
Yeah, he
might
got
say
hurt. He
people
got
say,
hurt.
well, heart ain't shit. Heart ain't shit. Hey, listen, bro. If you putting your life on the line, bro, and you on camera, that shit. Not everybody doing that, bro. Not
No.
you know.
Look, you gotta commend and salute the heart. You have to. Everybody utilize it differently, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They might have the heart to step through the ropes, but they don't have the durability. You know what I'm saying, to take their body to another level of failure. so they'll quit.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean they have a lack of heart. It's just mentally they was broken down and degraded, and they end up surrendering to refusing to go to a different level they never been to. You know, I mean, that's. I look at Rolly and I say Rolly has the tenaciousness. He's just a bruiser in there. The way he was cross facing Jackson Martinez, I said that's doghouse shit.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Cross facing them like that, and just being all grimy. But damn.
And like you said, he don't look like that. Rolly just doesn't seem like the type of person to me that'll be in a corner and be like, "Nah, I quit." Like it looks like you would have to physically fucking pound the shit out of him to have him say. It looks like his ego is too big. Like you said, like that doghouse shit. You would have to get him to a point where he physically can't do it. You know what I mean?
Rolly might be a glorified sparring partner when it comes down to it. I'm serious, because they might deplete the shit out of Rolly in-house to the point where his professional career suffers, man. Because you can't keep putting that man in tough ass sparring sessions, doghouse rules, and you want him to come out here and perform for longevity in the sport of boxing. He's gonna get fucked up.
And Mayweather keep throwing him in there too. Anytime somebody mentioned Tank or you know, he quick to sacrifice Rolly, of course, because he sees that obviously Tank is the money. So, you know.
But see, him and Tank is in the same division. So and this is how Floyd is moving the chessboard. You know, he puts them in the same sanctioning body. You know, Gervonta Davis and Rolly Romero are in the same sanctioning body in the same identical division. So Floyd has a plan. Floyd has a plan.
Yeah.
It's playing out right in front of us. We just don't know exactly what he's trying to place and piece together right now. But Rolly is the WBA interim, and Gervonta is the WBA regular.
So doesn't that technically make Rolly his mandatory?
Not for the regular.
Oh no, not for the regular.
You know what I'm saying? You can't unify a division off the regular title.
Okay.
You can only unify a division with the super titles. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they can be in the same sanctioned body, but Gervonta has a secondary belt, to be honest.
Yeah, and like you said, that everything is Floyd does, bro. He all has a plan, bro.
For sure. Hey, my peeps. Hey, I appreciate y'all for pulling up, man. Real talk. It's always a pleasure. You know, Smoke and Ghost 81, man. This is the first time I had you on the panel, but man, the invite is always open for you all. You know, the pull up, man. When you see it, I appreciate the topics and everything, man. Happy New Year's 2021 to both of you all and all the people. D-Ray, I seen you in here, man. Salute to you, D-Ray. Appreciate you staying in the live chat, man. But yeah, any final words, man? You know, where they can follow y'all on your channels and everything, man. You know what it is.
Hey, I just want to say, man, that I appreciate you having me on here, and I'll continue, you know, stopping by and showing my support, man. Hey, Smoke, I'll talk to you later, bro.
Yeah, man. Next time. Always a pleasure, man. World Combat. Thanks for having me. I'm glad you put a link on this one. I've been in here a couple times and you're giving them fire takes, and I definitely wanted to chop it up with you during then. But now we agree on basically everything you say, all your hot takes. I'm actually with you. The AJ, yeah, I'm you know, we have nothing to actually agree. It's just it's a kumbaya, and respect for having me again. Peace to the chat, peace to the playback gang. Yeah, happy New Year to you.
Real talk, man. Those of you that tuned in, I salute you. Until next time, man, turn up and tune in to World Combat Sports. What up? It's your boy Roy Jones Jr. And right now you tune in to World Combat Sports.